What's up, everybody? We're back. We're not gonna start this. So it's been a while since we last talked about what we've been up to. I actually think it's been like 8 days.
It's not a while.
It feels like a while. The last time we talked, we were in Casper, Wyoming. That night, last Tuesday, we drove out to Cody, Wyoming, which was about an hour outside of Yellowstone. And it was like the nearest town that had a lot of stuff going on. Initially, we were trying to drive closer to Grand Teton, but there was wildfires on that path, so we decided to go around and we drove more north. But yeah, Cody, Wyoming was cool. It was like, it felt known for RVers. Like, I remember that night that we were driving up to the Walmart and Ray was like, oh, let's look for the no overnight parking sign. Sometimes Walmarts have that, so if it has that sign, we won't park there. But this Walmart it was full of cars, and then we got to the back of the parking lot and it was full of RVs. So we felt safe. We were at home. So we slept that night. Immediately noticed we didn't really have much signal. Surprisingly enough, the Walmart inside, for some reason, I think T-Mobile just had their own signal in there. So when I went into the Walmart the next morning, I automatically connected to Wi-Fi. So that was cool. Got a little bit of stuff done. We ended up going to a McDonald's to get some work done and plan out the next couple of days. So we did that for a couple of hours and decided to head towards Yellowstone. It was a really nice drive on the way there. I don't know if you remember the stone tunnels and the water.
Yeah. It's very scenic.
Yeah, it was really nice. Getting to Yellowstone, we entered the east entrance, and of course, this was probably like our maybe 5th park or something that we've been to, so we're noticing how the park is a lot bigger than you expect. So we had the map, and we were trying to figure out which way to go. Old Faithful was on one side, but then they had this Lamar Valley on another, and that's where they said the majority of the animal activity was. So we wanted to check that out. We didn't get to Yellowstone until like almost 3:30, and so we decided to do the right side of Yellowstone. We went through the mud volcanoes. We did a walk through of that. I don't know what you thought about the mud volcanoes.
The mud volcanoes were cool. One of them was a blown up mud volcano that exploded on itself. The other one was like a dragon's mouth or something. I forgot what it's called.
Cauldron. Dragon's cauldron or something.
There was a different one that was a cauldron that was bubbling the whole time.
Okay.
The dragon's mouth one was like a cave that was like shooting the mud waves out. But that was pretty cool. It stunk.
Oh yeah,
It smelled horrible.
It smelled really bad.
Like eggs. It's a big sulfur area or something like that. There's yellow residue everywhere. But yeah, the mud pits were cool.
Yes, that had a nice walk trail to it. We did that. And then we headed to Lamar Valley, and we saw some animals that day. We saw a bear when we first got into Yellowstone. Everybody was taking pictures of the bear.
It's a black bear.
And then we saw the bison in the road. That was my favorite part. I just like how they're just doing their own thing, walking around. What did you think of that?
Yeah, the bison, they own the place. Cars will stop. It'll be 10 cars back, and there'll be bison in front, stopping all the traffic.
Just crossing the road.
50 at a time, just crossing the road.
There was this one guy who got really impatient, and he like drove around. He was like in the back of the line. I guess didn't want to wait, drove around, and like basically scared the bison off the road, which I didn't like. But yeah, we ended up seeing a fox. That was cool. I wasn't expecting to see a fox.
And we saw fox, we saw deer, we saw the black bear, we saw bison like 3 feet from us.
We were looking for wolves.
Yeah, we wanted to see wolves.
We didn't see any. But that was cool. once we hit that side of Yellowstone, we realized, okay, we're just going to need to come back. There's no way we're going to make it to Old Faithful and be able to see anything. It would be too dark. So we decided to head back to Cody, Wyoming, slept in the nice Walmart parking lot. The next day was actually a bad weather day, so we decided to do some work at a McDonald's. We just worked that entire day, which was good. So then that was Thursday. Then Friday came along, and we knew that we were going to hit the Old Faithful side of Yellowstone and then head south towards Grand Teton. I just learned how to say Teton. It sounds weird, but
we were calling it Grand Teton.
Grand Teton. I like Teton better. But yeah, we asked the lady when we got to Grand Teton how to pronounce it, and she said it was actually French. So yeah. I think it was when we went through Grand Teton, that was when you started getting sick, right? It was definitely by that night.
Yeah, by that night for sure.
So Ray started feeling an itchy throat. Okay, so back up. Old Faithful. Let's talk about that.
Skipped over that.
Go ahead.
Old Faithful. Very grateful to be able to have seen Old Faithful in person. She does what they say that she does. But for the amount of hype that it gets, I was pretty disappointed. There's 200 and something people circled around this geyser, and I'm like, oh wow, this is gonna be great.
I honestly, I thought like we were gonna feel the like ground rumbling or something. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. And then she was teasing everybody, like she would start to squirt a little bit, and then you're like, oh, this is it, and then nothing. And then a couple minutes go by. She did it like maybe 2 or 3 times.
But apparently that's just how geysers work. But yeah, and then she started squirting hard. And I was thinking, oh, okay, this thing's gonna go like 100 and maybe 200 feet in the air. It didn't look like that. Maybe it does, I don't know. I didn't read the cardboard, whatever they have over there. What are they called?
The information.
Yeah, I didn't read the information sheets.
We might have been, like, the distance you are from the geyser is what made it seem less.
Yeah. And it was cold, so the geyser would instantly steam as soon as it shot up.
So you couldn't really see much.
Yeah. We saw it. We could say we saw it.
We also went to the Midway geyser basin.
Is that the prismatic?
Yes. Which looked cool from the road. Like, this, again, I think the temperature of the outside was creating so much steam. From the road, it looked, you could see the colors at the base of the steam, and on the map, it's like this beautiful blue, yellow, green, and orange geyser basin, and we're like, oh, let's go look at it. But we got there, we couldn't really see anything.
Got to start from the beginning.
What?
We roll up to that place. We saw pictures of it, and I'm like, oh wow, that's like a multicolored pool of it's green and red and blue and yellow, all that. I'm like, okay, cool, that's gonna look cool. We start driving that way. The whole road is filled up with cars parked on the side. There's people walking. Once again, hundreds of people looking to enjoy this. We get there, we wait 20 minutes for a parking spot.
Yeah, we
all
did
right,
wait.
this is going to be great. We go, we cross a bridge, we go on this walkway, and we get there, and the whole thing is covered in steam, and you can't see shit. No, you can only see colors through the reflections in the steam. And then, it's, you know when it's a very faint rainbow, but you're like, oh, there's a rainbow there, but you got to really squint to see it. It was like that. And then we find out there's this vantage point above, and there's 20, 30 people up there. They probably saw it beautifully. The pictures of it are beautiful. I'd probably go back to see it in its full beauty, but this time around, we did not get the full beauty.
Yeah, it was still really nice. It had a nice walkway. We got to see the turquoise pool.
That was nice. I like that.
So yeah, from there, it was about a 30, 40-ish minute to Grand Teton. And that was weird too because we left the south entrance of Yellowstone and it like directly connects into Grand Teton, like 30 minutes south. And the entrance that we went through didn't have any like official entrance that we've been used to going through, where you typically see the park ranger, they hand you the map. So we just entered in and didn't really know what we were doing. So we drove through what we thought was like the whole thing, and the side that we exited, we were like, oh, let's turn around and get a map so we can see what we actually missed. So we did that, realized that the way it was taking us out of the park wasn't the way that we wanted to go, so we were able to course correct that, and then we got to see more of the mountains. Like the Mount Moran, I thought was really nice, and then Grand Teton, of course, looked really cool too.
The lake there was really pretty.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
We saw a chipmunk that was
chipmunk,
posing for everybody.
He was so cute.
He waved at me.
He stretched for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool.
We saw a bald eagle
Oh, yes, we saw a bald eagle. That was in Yellowstone.
It was in between Yellowstone and Grand Teton.
Yeah, so that was nice. We headed towards Idaho Falls after that. That was where we had planned to stay for the evening. I had a Planet Fitness. So we headed out there, and that was like, once we got there, I think that's when Ray was really not feeling well. Luckily, there was a Walgreens across the street that we walked to, and he got some medicine. That night, he had a horrible night. He didn't really sleep much.
My sleep score was like 30.
Yeah, that morning I let him sleep in for a bit while I did some work in the van, just using my hotspot. Once he woke up, that was on like a Saturday, so we were able to take it easy. We got up, took showers, and we decided to check out the natural grocery store they had.
Yeah.
And that was cool. They had a lot of neat stuff there. Got to try some of the built Puff bars. Was that where we got the Rocky Road?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Best flavor.
Yeah, we eat a good amount of protein bars, and one of our favorites is a built Puff bar. I'll have to show you guys. They're so good. And we've been coming across different flavors for them, and we found one. Usually, like, they're like standalones, like a chocolate chip cookie dough one, or there was a banana cream pie one. Not really that great, but this Rocky Road one that they had was our favorite. Usually when we try the outlier flavors, we're like, oh yeah, we're good with the ones that we're getting at the store. Like the Walmart, they sell the packs of the
brownie batter and
coconut. That's like the base flavors, which I'm not the biggest fan of the coconut, but the brownie one is really good. And so usually when we try the other flavors, we're like, I'm cool with the brownie. But the Rocky Road was really good. If I see that, if I see it again, I need to get my own, because usually we just get one and share it. But yeah, so then
Idaho Falls, beautiful.
What did we do there? We tried Scotty's drive-in.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, Idaho is known, their food, you would think that they're known for their potatoes, which they are, but they say like their like staple food of the state is called finger steaks. Finger steaks are, how would you describe them?
Picture like a chicken finger, but with steak instead of chicken.
Yeah.
So it's a fried piece of steak.
So we had looked up a place to go try them out in Idaho Falls, and they recommended Scotty's Drive-In Diner. And what did you think of Scotty's?
So we pull up to the place, and it's in like an industrial area. And I'm like, all right, interesting. We walk inside. The place smells like a porta potty.
It was faint, but it was there.
Maybe for you. My nose was clogged, and I still got punched in the face with the porta potty smell.
Oh my gosh.
It smelled like a porta potty, but it also had that old, like, used grease smell, like they hadn't changed the grease since they opened in the 60s.
Oh my gosh.
But in spite of that, we still took the gamble and tried it. So we got 2 orders of the finger steaks.
Should have just got one.
Should have got one.
Yeah.
And then fries, which were, I was kind of sketched out, because depends on the place how good the fries are? Do they just take shitty crinkle cut fries and throw them in the deep fryer?
I don't think anywhere in Idaho could get away with that.
Right. They told us that they were fresh cut and all that, and I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it.
So yeah, the fries were good. They're big on their fry sauce out here, which I like. Typically, what it sounds like is it's just mayo and ketchup, so I'm a fan of that. Their fry sauce was good, but we ended up trying another finger steaks.
What
go
about
ahead.
the finger steaks at Scotty's?
What about it? Oh, well, what did I think about them? The finger steaks at Scotty's, not the most memorable. What I do remember is that it did feel like the breading was thinner compared to what
Hold
we
on.
had.
Wait, you're giving too much away at first.
How?
You gotta describe the...
You go ahead then.
All right, so the finger steaks at Scotty's. The first bite you take, you get blasted in the mouth with that old grease flavor. But once that part, you get used to that part, it was pretty good. You said it made your stomach hurt?
It did. I didn't say that, but it did make my stomach hurt. So we were in Idaho Falls. We ate the Scotties, and then our plan was to drive to Soda Springs to go see the Soda Spring geyser. So that was like about an hour and a half-ish drive to there from Scotty's, and yeah, it was like an hour into the drive, my stomach was hurting, and I was like, I need some Tums. Yeah, I think we had the Tums already.
Yeah.
And literally, I knew the Tums saved my life because my stomach was starting to hurt real bad.
So Scotty's is not on our
I wouldn't go back.
revisit list.
I would not go back. But we wanted to try it too because we were debating, but I was like, let's go try it. That way we have a baseline for these finger steaks, and then we can go try them somewhere else and have something to compare it to. But yeah, so from there, we went to the Soda Spring geyser, and I forgot how you heard about that. I think in an article that was talking about things in Idaho.
Yeah.
And Ray is a big proponent for soda water.
I like soda water.
He likes soda water a lot. So when he found out there was a geyser that was just spitting out soda water, he's like, we gotta go see it. Which was pretty cool. The geyser goes every hour on the hour, so we're like, okay, cool.
It's a captive geyser. They were drilling for some reason.
They wanted to make a pool for the community.
They were drilling, and then all of a sudden they broke into a water pocket, and they also broke into a CO2 pocket. So the combination that just has it squirting up out the thing, up out the where they drilled, and it was getting everywhere for years. And they were like, hey, you got to do something about that. So they ended up figuring out how to control it with machinery. So
Put
now
a timer on it.
They put a timer on it, so every hour on the hour it squirts for 8 minutes.
Yeah, so that was cool. We got to do that. We got there right before it was about to go off, so that was perfect timing. And you're able to try it too. Hey guys, so this video ended up being a little bit longer than we were expecting, so we decided to do it in 2 parts. Part 2 coming soon. Come back for that soda water review.